Let's do it. Let's roll it. Oh, can I love these.
Do you want to?
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, see? He's like,
Hold on.
hey.
I'm just going to get you all. Let's do this.
Okay.
Let's clap it out.
Let's clap it out.
My faith journey starts in a bathtub when I was 7. I asked my dad what it was about and prayed fairly traditional prayer, asking the Lord into my heart. But I think the journey piece of it, the part that's interesting, and maybe we can make a wine analogy out of this, I think the journey has been the maturing process, and it's sort of been a journey of surprise and delight. Let's see, the steps to making wine are pretty simple. It is largely an agrarian process. Go find a big, glorious, parched piece of earth, plant yourself a vineyard. In the right season, you're going to pull the fruit off of those vines. There's the crush, so literally the crushing of the grapes, pressing the juice and some of the phenolics out of the skin. And then there's the fermentation of it, so literally the changing of the sugars into, among other things, alcohol. And then there's the aging of the wine, so whether that's in barrels traditionally or stainless steel or concrete vats of would have been done years and years ago. And then there's the drinking of it. Those are all the steps that I can think of. Those are the important ones, at least. There are a few qualities that make a good wine that we can all agree with, and fascinatingly, struggle is one of them. Typically, the older the vine, the better quality of the fruit. You're looking for vines that don't exactly live in the easiest places. You might think you want to just find the most fertile soil you can with the perfect sun and the perfect amount of rain, and the truth of the matter is that actually produces a lousy grape. The grape that you want is one where the vine had to fight against the weather and with the weather and against and with the soil. And sometimes some of these roots can go down 50, 60 feet to find water. You want the vine to struggle for it, to have to want it. And in doing so, those roots, they have to sink in and settle in, and they are extracting as much as they possibly can. And all of that's going into one little grape. Without that struggle, you get a grape that is without structure, without depth, without quality, without character. It doesn't have the same sweetness. It doesn't have the potential for aging. It just is half the grape. And moreover, a good wine is often made by dropping some of that fruit. It's the letting go of some of that fruit to allow the vine to focus on the remaining fruit. So some of the best vineyards in the world come through and take all those beautiful grapes and just clip them right off. You might take a vine with 10 clusters of grapes on it and only leave 2 and let the 8 just fall to the ground. And that allows the vine to focus everything that it has into the remaining clusters. The caliber of the grape says everything about the quality of the wine. Often red wines and even many white wines can age for years. And what's so fascinating about them is that it's not that they're not good a year or 2 or 3 after they've been made, but they can get better with time and better, of course, subjective. So some people might love a wine 5 years old, and other people might like it a whole lot better 10 years old, and then other people might say, no, it's best is at 25 years. And make no mistake, at 25 years, it's lost a lot of what it had when it was younger, not dissimilar from us. But it's also picked things up, so it lets go of one thing in order to accomplish the others. Literally what's happening in the bottle. Particularly in my business, even beyond the hospitality world, it's so easy for us to focus on the wine. But that's not how they were made. They were made not for us to celebrate them, but for that bottle to celebrate us. See a guest at the table and you realize what's going on. You're like, oh, hold on a second. You go down to the cellar and you grab something. What you're thinking of more than what the bottle tastes like, and I've tasted many of them, it's exciting, is what's going to happen when they taste it. In that way, wine exists to cherish and honor and to celebrate the other. I think that's a great thing to remember. It's easy to put the spotlight on the bottle, but most of the winemakers I know put that wine in the bottle so that the spotlight would be reflected back onto the people around the table. It sits in the middle of the table like a candle in a certain sense, shedding light and bringing together people. That's why it exists. Probably where Jesus took some interest in it, I don't know. But there is something very communal about coming together at any time. And if you choose to have a bottle of wine as a part of it, then it has a sense of uniting around a shared and common experience. Only tonight, only this one bottle, only us right here do we get to taste and see. Do we get to see what this thing is actually like? And that's a fleeting moment here today and gone in a couple of sips. And the magic, of course, isn't that you tasted something. The magic is that we all did it together. We shared that thing. And that thing that we shared, it doesn't go away. It has cemented for us a fellowship in a certain way. It was a gift to us, and we get to partake in it. It's fun, and it tastes good. When you compare and contrast a life of faith and making wine, there's probably a lot of similarities there. One that pops into my head is the patience that it takes, and the endurance, and the letting go. The winemaker is making decisions now that he or she won't get to taste for years. And that is a process of belief in the forming of the character of the grapes and the forming of the character of the wine, and the trust that it takes to sort of do everything you possibly can. Like, there's no harder work on this planet maybe than farming. And you just pour everything you have into this fruit, and then you bottle it up and you set it aside. And I think of faith a little bit in that way, which is it's not a passive game. This is not something we just get to sit back and be like, I trust you, God. Like, we show up and we pour everything that we have into what we're doing. We're all in. And at the same time that we're all in, there's another truth present, and that's that we get to let go. And I think of what winemakers go through, that struggle of having to pour everything they have into making this product, and then just letting go. You don't know what's going to happen. And isn't that true about us? As much work as we pour into it, we're not in control. And thank goodness. It's a beautiful thing.